Let's get some hands together, gang, for Gideon AI.
Just a quick heads up, the gameplay for this video is much quicker than in previous videos. Please let me know in the comments below whether that's good, bad, or whether it should be tweaked, or just all the way back to how I used to do it. Alright, with this one, the general idea is we're going to play Alduin. Costs 2 less for each dragon in your discard pile. So if we just have all the dragons, and then all the discard, we even have hit and run. So we draw 5 cards, and we can't play anything, so we just discard all of our dragons. Just throw out the entire hand, and then we hope we draw into Sorcerer, bring back Alduin. And maybe we get Gearwork Spiders. That's fine too, because they also have some discard synergy. And we've got a couple of cards that discard stuff. And we can kind of use our dragons in the late game to survive a little bit. Swiftwing Dragon and Skyborn Dragon and Wildfire Dragons. And these guys don't do anything. But other than that, I guess we can also win through regular control with just having more value in our late game than other people. But the idea is to discard all of our top end and play Alduin for 0. And then when our opponent nukes him, we hope he doesn't banish him or transform him. And then we Sorcerer him back. And then we just blow up the board multiple times. That's the idea. Without further ado, let's check out some games. Alrighty, let's go. Up against a Sorcerer. We just ditch everything. Look for our draw earlier. Unfortunately, he is probably a mid-range Sorcerer, possibly Ward Sorcerer. We have Alduin in our opening hand. That is auspicious. Just gonna keep cashing in on that Dwemer puzzle box. We keep the lowest costed because chances are we're never going to run out of stuff to drop onto the board. Curving pretty neatly into a Merchant's Camel right here. Unfortunately, we discard a Soul Tear. It's probably not going to be super useful. Getting Parthenax into the discard pile, however, is not too bad. Nice, we got a Prophecy off of that. Our enemy's ramping up considerably, considering the Midnight Snack is probably also going to drop down some stuff. We're going to keep Nahag leave because he's probably not going to be messed up here. That discounter really didn't do a whole lot for our enemy. We get to contest with our own Spine of Elder's Blood. And we draw into a Swiftwing Dragon. Those things come in handy. We're just going to drop the Clockwork on the left. One of the most competitively priced dragons in the game. Unfortunately, gets lightning bolted. Our enemy's actually getting pretty dangerously close to popping off both of the Histgroves there. That's going to be a huge problem. However, we do have a 3-cost Alduin in hand. So, even if our opponent is playing them mummies. Supreme Atromancer also really hurts. But, of course, we can just full clear with Alduin. And pray he doesn't get mummified. Pretty much. So we're just going to break some runes anyway, because we're going to try and put our opponent on a clock. We're going to drop the biggest dragon we're holding in hand. The bestest. Even though he's one of our few guards. Unfortunately. And the Soul Tear is back to the Supreme Commander. Supreme Atromancer, sorry. It's cool RTS, alright. But, if our opponent doesn't have any prophecies, we can actually kill them with that Charge Dragon. Ooh boy. That was a quick one. A ramp off. Alright, well, moving along to the next game. Up against a Mage. And of course the rules for anything above Legend always assume that you're up against aggro, but it doesn't look like aggro, considering they just skipped the first 2 turns. We're just going to start dumping our hand now that we know it's more of a tempo-oriented game. The ringing out of the Hive Defender. That hurts. But let's just hope our opponent can't do some crazy tempo stuff. They did skip the early turns. I guess they just had a couple of bad draws. We get to drop our 6 contests with the Hive Defender very, very well. Unfortunately, our right lane is taking quite the beating. Yeah, this looks like they're just running a pretty typical control style budget list. Crushing blow on the left side. Ward crafter kind of hurts. But he's going face. We get to punish him with the Gearwork Spider. One of the greatest discard synergy cards. Super competitive. We constellate prophecy. It's got a bunch of boxes to check. You can actually kill off 2 of our opponent's creatures with the Wildfire Dragon right there, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. Now he's an 8/8. That's pretty nice. But we don't really care about swinging into face that much in the early game. All of a sudden, coming out with all these prophecies, though, making him look more like an aggro deck. Hopefully we'll get to Alduin soon, because he's probably going to start playing all in the Shadow lane. He's, despite fighting very hardly for the field lane, he has lost it officially.
I used to be an adventurer.
Wow, Camlorn Hero. That's definitely more of an aggro type card. Lightning Bolt face. Empty hand strategy. Unfortunately, we break a rune, swinging in with the Wildfire Dragon. However, we are able to knock out some of the creatures in the right lane, leaving our opponent with an empty board. So I guess we just hope for no Camlorn Hero into Lightning Bolts, and actually we'll probably have lethal next turn. We've got the Swiftfire, the Charge Dragon. Firebolt's kind of irritating. I think we still go for it though.
Let's do this.
Nice. No trigger. No prophecies. Our opponent did draw a couple of prophecies earlier. No Shrieking Harpy. That's exactly. Let me draw back Alduin just for kicks. He was cost 6, so unfortunately we couldn't squeeze him in there at the end. When did we discard him? I went back and checked, and it turns out we got Alduin in the discard pile when our opponent got us down to 6 health with that Lightning Bolt. And now the verdict. Unfortunately, I didn't get to showcase the hit and run into Alduin at 0 cost, drop the Alduin, and then discard hand, or hit and run to discard hand and to draw Soul Tear and bring back at 0 cost Alduin. But unfortunately, that was just incredibly inconsistent. Hit and run was easily a dead card most of the time. In fact, most of the wins that I garnered with this deck were just from the good old-fashioned control style gameplay, just running my opponent out of resources, but even that didn't really work well against the most modern control decks. It just does not win against that. You might have infinite value, but it doesn't matter if your opponent's infinite value is better. Of course, it sucks against Nyx-Ox combo, all that kind of stuff. But the concept might work better with agility, so you can get Scout's Report, Corner Club, Gambler, and Fleeting Apparition for actually tutoring out Alduin when he gets to 2 or 0 cost. That might be a little ambitious, but Intelligence might also work. They have a couple of discard cards themselves, and of course, if you use Genius Path Mage and your Alduin is 4 cost, 2 cost, 0 cost, those are all fairly reasonable to hit with the Path Mage relatively early on in the game. But as of yet, those tests have not been completed. All I can say is the Warrior variant, even without having the sharp-eyed trash cans, is at a statistical disadvantage, just relying so heavily on getting Alduin and then not being able to draw it routinely. Well, that's all for this one, folks. Remember, go crazy.